I say this as a point in my life where I literally lived off of like cheese and water because I could barely afford food, man. Like there were nights when I literally like cried myself to sleep because I was like, how the fuck, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, I mean, you want to get dark. Like there were times where I thought of literally like, just fuck, man, maybe I'll just like go to jail. Like at least I'll have food. I won't have to worry. I like stress about how the fuck am I going to make money and like buy food. It was that fucking bad. It used to be a joke when people would come over my house. I would just sit there and laugh. I'm like, yo, you hungry? Go to the fridge. They'd open the fridge like, the fuck, there's a Britter pitcher and like a thing of like cheese. Like that's how do you eat? I'm like, I don't. Like,
I don't.
My clients at the gym would bring in food for me. Like, here, eat. I'm like, yes.
That's insane. Dude, yeah. So really appreciate you taking the time to jump on a call with me today. Really just wanted to kind of talk about your journey, your freelancing journey in general, and also through CMB. A bit of background, really, where you were before you joined us, your transformation. I really want to make this as useful and like actionable and practical as possible for like everyone watching, for our audience. So not only like how you managed to get so many clients so quickly, how you managed to explode, but I think also something that everyone secretly wants to know is how the hell are you so damn productive with everything you have going on in your life? You know, you're balancing so many different things, full-time job, so many clients for chat closing. And then obviously you're a family man as well. You have a wife and is it 2 kids?
Yep.
Yeah. You got a lot going on. And you still manage to find time to help out so many people in the Facebook group with, you know, when they have questions, they come to you and you still find the time to help them out, which is like, man, super generous. You're one of the OGs, one of our, I would say, most valuable members in our community. And so we are glad to have you in the fam, dude. And yeah, I'm pumped to have a chat and let's let's work out the Bryan OS and see how this man does it. So
cool. So just real brief backstory about me. Well, I'm 42 as of this recording. So I don't think I'm the oldest person in CMB, but I'm one of the older ones. When I grew up, there was no such thing as an internet. There was no such thing as a cell phone. All the stuff that was like so ingrained into us now, chat closing and all that, online coaches, none of that existed when I was growing up. I didn't have any of that. Really quick, I was a horrible student growing up. I was never diagnosed with ADD or anything, but if I had been tested, I would have been because I never studied. I never focused. How I got through school was beyond me. I basically failed every math class I ever took. I kind of just bullshitted my way through school. Like, don't know how it happened. Because of my age, like I was still groomed, even kids to this day still are, kind of like the system, right? You go to college, get a job, blah, blah, blah. That's what you do. There is no and or buts about it. Like, yeah. And if you don't do that, you're essentially going to be a failure. You have no chance. So that programming is still kind of in the back of my head, which we'll get to in a little bit. But all right, went to college, did that. No idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was into working out because I'm a meathead. So became a personal trainer. First day of personal training, they're like, all right, well, you got to go sell. I'm like, what the fuck is selling? Like, I had no idea what it was. Like to me, it was like, I'm good at working out and I can get you in shape. But well, like, what is selling? Like, I had to sit down and try to sell people. I literally had a sheet of paper with the prices on it. I'm like, and I would just hand it to people and not say anything. Like, and they're like, no, like, all right, see ya. So it kind of clicked early on. Like one day I ended up, my friend at the company at the time was like the sales guy and he was going out with this chick for the first time. He's like, dude, can you take over for me for the day? I was like, all right. So I got myself real pumped up, like affirmations and shit. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like, running through the script over my head. I came in that day for sales and I crushed it. As a personal trainer, I beat the entire, like the front end, the desk staff. Yeah. And that almost never happens. Like I slaughtered them all. And that just so happens to be the same day the CEO of LA Fitness, Lou Welch, came in that day and he was touring. I had no idea. I was just some young dickhead trainer. And he was like, well, look at these numbers and sales. I'm like, hey man, like I really hate sales. Like I just want to help people, help people work out. And he told me, he's like, dude, you're good at it. So I don't know what the fuck you're doing with being a trainer, but you got to get good at sales. Cool. Lesson learned. I bounced around for a couple more jobs because I wasn't making any money. I was working 2 jobs, 7 days a week, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night. Like when I got home from college, my mom was like, my whole life told me like 18, you're out of the house, like get the fuck out. So college degree, working 2 jobs, got an apartment. And I was like, I say this as a point in my life where I literally lived off of like cheese and water. Because I could barely afford food, man. Like there were nights when I literally like cried myself to sleep because I was like, how the fuck, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like I mean, you want to get dark. Like there were times where I thought of literally like just, I didn't want to join the military because it was around 2000, like right after 9/11. I was like, fuck man, maybe I'll just like go to jail. Like at least I'll have food. I won't have to worry. I like stress about how the fuck am I going to make money and like buy food. It was that fucking bad. But this trainer friend, his girlfriend at the time worked for CVS, which is like a pharmacy in the US. So she got me a job, did that, got some corporate level experience, some corporate training, whatever. Did that for about a year, hated it, called my friend out of the blue one day, like, hey man, because he worked for the government. Like, you guys hiring? And he's like, yep, we are. I was like, I drove over to his house that night. He helped me fill out the thing, the application process, lied about all the shit. Like, have you ever taken drugs? I was like, no, I've never taken anything. So that's how I got my government job, which is what, I have. But like kind of the lesson learned there is I didn't go out and apply for those jobs. It was a friend who helped me. Like it was networking, it was who I knew. Literally like, hey man, like, so like what you teach in CMB, and I'll get into it later, like how to find clients the best way is your network. Like
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I could say like how many people I've applying for jobs and all this kind of shit. I never did. I just asked friend for help and they were like, yeah, cool. So how that translates into CMB, which we'll get into, is I've only ever done outreach for my first client, and that was it.
Yeah. Honestly, if you do it right, that's almost pretty much how it should be.
And I'll get into it later, but like the ladder of how I've climbed client-wise, I didn't do any, it was all networking, connections, and referrals. Anyway, so I'm doing the government thing, doing what I'm told. I get my masters. I'm rising to the corporate ladder. It's so boring, so unfulfilling. Like I got pretty high to the point where I wasn't doing any grunt work, like sitting in front of a computer doing spreadsheets and shit in a cubicle. Like I had people reporting to me. So again, it's the same thing. Like it's all relationships. So that's how, like I say, I'm working a lot, but I'm really just managing relationships with people is all I'm doing, which is how I have so much free time because I'm not doing any of the stupid grunt work that I used to. So I'm like, I got a lot of free time. I'm bored. I got into Toastmasters and public speaking. I entered the World Championships of Public Speaking, the contest, 2 years in a row. I got to like the third level out of 6. So I got pretty far. And I started telling personal stories because I saw that was a thing. And I ended up telling a story about how I was bullied in high school. And then I tried, like basically my whole life. And in high school, I tried to commit suicide. And I had never shared that before. I never told anyone before. And I gave that speech to, I don't know, maybe 600 people. And the whole room's freaking crying. People are coming up to me telling me like, oh my God, that's so awesome, that story. So at the same time, like right around the time my son was born, I was writing my own book, like personal development book. Like for anyone who's reading this, if you ever read a personal development book, if you've read more than one, they all say the same thing. Have a vision, have goals, time management, take action. So I wrote my own book, basically like synthesizing everything that I had read into like, just fucking do this instead of like, you don't need to read all 500 personal development books like I did. And I put that story in there about being bullied and people read it and they're like, I want my kid to read this. So long story short, kind of the stories that I told in my book, I became a motivational speaker for kids, for high school kids, middle school kids, speaking about bullying prevention, suicide prevention, which was extremely, to this day, if you Google bryanbradshaw.com, it's my speaking website. It sucks, but it's there, right? I'm too lazy to take it down. So with the free time, I was doing something it was very fulfilling and wasn't very lucrative. So I was like, shit, man, like I really want to start, making more money. And I don't remember, that was the time, for those of you who follow Jason Capital, he had just pivoted out of dating to like the make money stuff.
That's exactly, when I started.
Boss and fuck all this shit. And I was like,
get into him as well.
Whoa. So like just totally out of the blue, like I was like, I got to get out of this. Like I need to change. So that's when I went to his event in 2019, the one you spoke at, with Dan Pena.
Interesting. So you were in that audience when I was speaking.
I sat literally all the way in the back.
Were you the guy that was like, fuck yeah, when I said anyone over 40 or something?
Probably me.
Who here is 20 years old or older? Hands up. If you were 20 years old, understand you have 20 years left to live. You're halfway through your life. You have 20 Christmases left. Who's 30 or older? Hands up. You have 17. 40 or older? Hands up. Fuck yeah. You have 10 years left. 10 Christmases. All right? Guys, you don't have time to fuck around.
If
That
you
does,
find the
dude.
recordings of that, you can hear me yelling a couple things out.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Going out, I was meeting kids. Like, obviously I was one of the oldest people there, but I'm meeting kids in like high school, just out of high school. And they're, effortlessly pulling out their laptops at lunch and they're making fucking 5-10 grand. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't think this shit was real. I came back and I was telling people in the office, like, dude, you have no fucking idea. And they're like, oh, that's all scamming and shit. I was like, no, okay, whatever. Fuck you. So that summer I joined Jason Capital had IG Agent, which just about at that time, like you had already started your coaching program. James Conti was like the all-star, even like Jason was promoting him too at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I started following him. I started doing the IG Agent, and real quick, like in the IG Agent Facebook group was like a fucking dumpster fire. It was awful. Like the people in there. So I was like, shit, man, I want to like level this up and get around, like, if I'm really going to do this seriously. So that's when I seeing the success you were having, seeing the success James had. So I hit you up, and funny, it was James who actually closed me. He told me a little bit later. I guess he was your DM guy at the time. He's like, yeah, I closed you, bro.
Yeah. That's right.
But because I had kind of a sales background, I always wanted to do sales rather than copywriting. I was never a good writer. Still to this day, I'm a horrible speller. If you look at any of my Instagram stories, half of my words are spelled wrong. And like 3 slides later, I have to redo it and like cross it out. Like, yeah, fuck it. So that's how I got into basically chat closing. It's like, fuck, I'm going to be on my phone all day anyway. I might as well be making money with it. Right.
Yep.
That was like kind of like the long version of how I got into CMB. I think you had just released your Clients on Demand cheat sheet.
Yeah, because you joined us for the last live season that we ever had, right? Well,
yeah, season 6.
I don't
was
say
with
ever, because I am going to be doing a new one this year, which is exciting. CMB 3.0 or 2.0, whatever. You were there live, so it would have been like around August 2019.
Yeah, 2019. That was kind of the story. And I came in thinking like, oh, dude, I got this. These young motherfuckers. And then week 2, Ray's like, I'm making 30 grand. I'm like, holy shit.
You were in the same live season as Ray. That's right.
Yeah. So he was like incredibly inspiring how just fast he fucking blasted off. But so I took your Clients on Demand cheat sheet. And for me, like, I know a lot in CMB, talk a lot about Instagram and reaching out to people on Instagram. For me, it was always Facebook. I don't know if it's an age thing or what. To me, like, Facebook just came very easy.
Yeah.
I had already kind of had an idea who I wanted to work with, kind of online coaches. She's a 7-figure coach now. I was in her Facebook group and she posted a thing like, hey, let's get to know each other. And I basically did a cheekier version of the Clients on Demand. And she reached out to me right away and was like, hey, I saw your post. I'm interested. Like, because at that time, chat closing wasn't a huge thing. Like appointment setting.
No, almost no one was doing it back then. Now it's very cool. But back then,
appointment setting wasn't even a word. No, it wasn't even a thing. That was another year later.
Crazy.
So she was like, hey, I like it. Let's go. I logged in, like I'd used all your like closing stuff, your chat closing that you taught. And like real quick, like we redid all her scripts, like blew up real fast. And she was like, dude, this is really good. Like, I love it. I'm over here pretending I'm a 40-year-old guy from New Jersey, pretending I'm a 20-year-old fitness trainer from the UK. Like, yes, girl, and sending hearts and shit. Like, it was great.
Yeah. You're like a chameleon. You got to take on new skins, new personas.
Yeah. So she ended up hiring another business coach. So she restructured everything. She wasn't going to pay like a chat closer anymore. So I became a phone closer for her. I thought I could do it. I was like, yeah. And I failed fucking miserably. Like, I think I took like 4 or 5 calls, bombed everyone. I was like, listen, man, I apologize. Like I can't be taking calls. I'm not that good enough to be a phone closer for you. Like, I'm helping you lose money. I apologize. And she was like, no, man, I get it. Like, obviously the way I structured things, it's not going to work financially for you with what you want, but how can I help you essentially? And that led to an introduction to more clients. And then I just kept that kind of spiral going.
Yeah.
So like I said, I only ever did cold outreach to one person and it worked.
Yeah. Okay. Well, dude, that's really interesting. I had no idea about the depth of your backstory, by the way, like at the sort of low points you had been at. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a while.
Water and cheese to like where you are. We'll get into where you are now later, but I mean, dude, that's insane.
Dude, it used to be a joke when people would come over my house. I would just sit there and laugh. I'm like, yo, you hungry? Go to the fridge. They'd open the fridge, like, dude, fuck, there's a Britter pitcher and like a thing of like cheese. Like that's how do you eat? I'm like, I don't.
I don't.
My clients at the gym would bring in food for me, like, here, eat. I'm like, yes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. So, okay, so you came from there. Obviously went through the personal training space, discovered that you said you were naturally pretty good at closing though. Was that on the phone or just in person or when you were doing it at the gym?
Kind of. I think, how do I say this? I don't know if you ever watch any like mob movies, Goodfellas or anything like that. Like my family is Italian, second generation from South Philadelphia. I grew up, basically, I'm from New Jersey. I basically grew up with my mom's side of the family in South Philly.
Yeah, my mom's side of the family is Italian as well. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Like a lot of old school, a lot of mafia shit you see in the movies. Like if you ever want to go down a rabbit hole in Philadelphia, Halloween, 1989, there's a restaurant called Dante and Luigi's, and there was a mob hit, and we were a block down. Like I was there. Like it was crazy. I saw the dudes run in, run out, crazy shit. But that style, that time, that culture was all like very, very loud. Don't give a shit what you think. I'm just going to tell you what it is. Like that style of communication. Like I just grew up with that. Yes. So not that I was good at sales, I could talk like, and I didn't care. There was no filter. There was no embarrassment. I'm just going to say whatever. Like we're sitting down at an Italian dinner. It's like, hey, you want some more to drink? Nah. Like what the fuck's wrong with you? I'll stab you in the eye with a pair of scissors. Like that's just how he talked. Right. So what I used to take as bullshitting my way actually became like how to cut through the noise and be heard and get people to listen to you. You know, some people get nervous when they talk to people. Like, I don't care who you are. I treat everybody the same, whether you're 8-figure business coach, I'm not kissing your ass. You know, that's just how I communicate.
You're a straight shooter.
And I think that lends really well to sales. Like once you know what you're doing, it comes really easy. Like,
yeah, dude, that's honestly so refreshing in today's day and age where everyone's like tiptoeing on fucking ice, you know, trying to bullshit each other, trying to really like sugarcoat everything. You just cut through the fucking noise and you're like, bro, I'm going to tell you how it is. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit who you are, you know, if you're a janitor or if you're a 9-figure business coach, like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, I'm going to tell you how it is. And that's what I love about you.
Part of like, I was going to say part of like my what I developed for my strategy for sales calls, because I still have my job and we'll get into that if you want. But essentially my frame when I get on a call is you need me. I don't need you. You need help. You need somebody to help with your business. I don't need your money. I don't need you as a client. So I always look for ways to disqualify. Like I'm looking for the way out. So I'm looking for anything that you say that I'm like, this isn't going to work. And that immediately, like, I can't tell you, I mean, it's every single conversation I've ever had with any kind of business owner. It's like, dude, I appreciate that you just told me that. Like people bullshit me all day. Like, oh yeah, I can get you this results. I can get you this. I'll blow it up. Like, and I'm just like, dude, hey, sorry. Like this isn't going to work. I'm looking to disqualify us from working together. Really one, it's not cold outreach, so I can get away with it. It's a referral.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if it was cold outreach, I probably wouldn't do that. But if you're referring to me like, hey, I got this guy.
Yeah.
I got this fitness
the positioning
coach,
is
looking for somebody. Yeah. I'm just like, dude, how much are you doing per month? Like, how many do you? Yeah, honestly, it's a little bit low. It's like, well, I'll give you 25% commission. Like, okay.
Like, yeah, it's almost like not even as a tactic, but really genuinely coming from the experience that you have and kind of how you know the industry shoot down. But then also like really capitalizing on the fact that it's a referral and the positioning that you had going into it, like the introduction, like the halo effect, the level that they already believe you're at, and really just, it's like taking it to another level. But that's really good, dude. That's really good.
Yeah. I mean, it's and if you've ever read, for people that are going to watch this later, there's a book that everyone should read, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
I mean, he says it like you want to go for no, like that really, like I've read a lot of books. A lot of it's just bullshit fluff, but that one really stuck out. Like if you haven't read that book, read it.
Yeah. It's all about essentially, it's almost like you want to, you know, you want to hear no, you want to hear like, no, that's too much. No, that's ridiculous. Then you know you're in the right place because it gives you one. I mean, some people will just straight up say yes. Like you'd be surprised if you ask for way more than what you're currently asking for. Some people will just off the bat say yes. And then that's easy. Of course, most people are going to say, no, that's too much. But then now that gives you a lot of room to negotiate, right? So not only the sheer difference in price between what you're asking and what they're willing to pay, you meet somewhere in the middle. Then there's also the whole like reciprocity thing where it's like, if you ask for a certain amount and then they want lower, then almost by like reducing your rates to actually what you were secretly happy with anyway, it's almost like you're making a concession. then you can basically just give yourself more favorable negotiating terms, and you can work in other things into contract. Well, I'm going to need this, I'm going to need that. And then because you've effectively like lowered your rates from the really high thing you were asking for before, then they're like, okay, that's reasonable, that's fair. And you can get what you want.
Yep. And like before I got this current gig that I had, which we'll go into, which is fucking insane beyond anything I can imagine. I had a fitness coach who was on Instagram. He was kind of a referral. I was actually from somebody from CMB. He's like, hey, I'm looking for somebody, 5% commission. I was like, hey, I mean, everything sounds great, but I can't do that. Like, best of luck. And he's like, would you take 25%? I was like, yep. But that's not a sales tactic. That's me literally being like, hey, this isn't going to work. Goodbye. So
yeah. It came
kind
from
of that takeaway,
really not needing it, which then in turn, it's crazy. Like human psychology is crazy. It's like, it's almost the same thing with when you try to get a bank loan. It's like the banks will loan money to people who can prove they don't need it. And the people who don't need it are the ones that get the money, right? Same thing in business.
Yeah. And then the other part of kind of that disqualification thing, I would say 50% of the people that I've talked to that I feel like, it doesn't feel right, or the numbers are just going to be too low. They'll end up referring me to one or two more people. Like, hey, Bryan, are you still doing this and that? Because I know somebody, even though we didn't work together. Just being cool and being honest on the phone, like, because I guess it's so rare these days, especially if you're a business owner looking to, it's like a contractor / unless you're like really building your team, they're getting bullshitted all day from people. So just tell the fucking truth. Like, they're like, like I said, like every person I talk to is like, man, I really appreciate your honesty. Even if it doesn't work out, like, hey, I know somebody, maybe you guys can work together.
Yeah, you're totally right, man. It's super refreshing in today's day and age. If someone comes in and they shoot me straight and they're like, hey, to be honest, I don't think we're a good fit to work together. It's like, it's crazy. Like, you'll trust that person so much more than someone who makes you, promises you everything you want to hear. It's like, if you've ever been into a store, let's say you're looking for some piece of like tech, like some camera or something. You go to JB Hi-Fi or whatever they have in America. And it's like, if the salesman ever says, actually, to be honest, I don't think this is what you're looking for. I don't think we have anything. I don't think this is the best fit. You automatically, you're like, whoa. You're like, what? A salesman is not just trying to like sell me like whatever they have. He's like actually being honest with me. He's like saying, to be honest, you're better off going to these guys next door. They'll have what you want. You know what I mean? You're like, that's a guy you're going to trust, for a long time. And you're like, well, dude, he was honest. And that's like extremely rare. And so that builds an enormous amount of trust people don't even think about.
For sure. Yeah. So for anybody who's watching this, like, first of all, if you're not recording all your sales calls, you're doing it, you're fucking up. You need to record all of them so you can listen. And then just try to find a way, like, listen to where, if you're coming off on too needy, or where you can actually like, shit, I should have did like kind of a takeaway there. Like, hey, sorry, this isn't going to work. Something like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of just came natural for me because, like I said, the way we grew up and the way we talk to each other, it's like, fuck you. I don't need you. Like,
yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. It's almost like maybe you do have to really almost use it like a tactic in the beginning until it does feel natural.
Especially because I know a lot of people in CMB, a little bit older, starting to see a lot more people with families, career people that are looking to switch. Like, see if you can help use that. Like, right, you still have your job, you still have your career, so you're not starving, right? So leverage that. Like, if you get on a call with somebody, like, hey man, maybe this isn't going to be the best fit, and if it's not, cool, I'm going to be fine. Just having that frame, it's going to make you sound like I said, a little bit more trustworthy, especially these days.
Exactly. 100%. Same thing with dating, same thing with it's all the same. Like, human psychology is the same. It's like, you don't need it, you're instantly more attractive, And I would firmly argue that like they do need it more than you. If you have a really good skill set as a copywriter, closer, chat closer, social media person, ad, media buyer, whatever it is, who's really going to benefit more if you guys work together? Like, they are going to make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars more, depending what level they're at. And you might make a few grand a month. You know what I mean? So it's like their gain is going to be phenomenally higher than yours. By definition, they do need it more, and it will make a bigger difference to them. And so you're not lying. Like, it's not a tactic. It's not like I know maybe it feels a bit uncomfortable for some people to say that kind of thing, but it's like, it's genuinely the truth in that they will benefit more from this interaction. In general, like, if you guys know my pricing rule, like, I generally like to charge 1/10 of the value that I'm bringing to the table. So for me to charge $2,000 a month as an email copywriter, like, I would be making a minimum like 20 grand a month. So it's like, by definition, with my ideology pricing structure, they will be benefiting way more than I will. So by definition, they do need me more than I need them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other thing with that too is like my philosophy about shit, kind of that, you need me, I don't need you. The other part of that is like, if I were to ask you, Sean, like, I know you're a coach, you get with CMB, you got your DJ thing. Like, what business are you in?
Question. I'm in the business of selling myself, I suppose, or my brand.
Well, there's only one answer I ever want to hear is we're in the relationship business.
Yeah.
Period. No matter what the fuck you do, right? Everything we do is with and through people. So people that say I'm a chat closer, I'm a copywriter. It's like, oh, what business are you in? Oh, copyright. No, you're in the relationship business. Just that little frame shift. It's like every single person you talk to, every single post you reply to on a ClickFunnels thing, just think of that first. I'm building a relationship. I might not sign the person, we might just have a quick chat, but that frame makes things so much easier. Like so much easier. Like, I don't say like I'm not looking for clients, like we all are, but if I can build a relationship with somebody, who are you going to refer somebody to? Somebody you don't know, or somebody you've kind of talked to, like, I heard, you do this chat closing thing. Somebody in my coaching group needs somebody. Let me hook you up. You want a referral? Like, build relationships with people.
Yeah, dude, it's everything. I mean, like the past couple of weeks, I've had little podcast interview things with two dudes, Nick Verge and Troy Erickson, both of which are 7-figure, in my opinion, legends in the space, in the copywriting world. Yeah, we've said the same thing. It's like copywriters, especially because it's such an like introverted kind of profession that, they just want to be behind the screen, behind the box, like in their own little world, like don't talk to anyone, because that's, I suppose, the nature of being a writer typically attracts introverts. But it's like you would benefit so hugely from really putting yourself out there, making more connections, making more friends, going to live events, networking offline and online. And that, like, in itself will pretty much just take care of your client situation if you just know enough people in the space. You shouldn't have to do cold outreach if you know enough people. I think more entrepreneurs, but especially in the copywriting world, need to really learn to put themselves out there and become comfortable putting themselves out there.
Yeah. Getting that first client is everything. It's the hardest thing. After that,
definitely,
it just becomes easier and easier. But talking about like relationships, there was a guy, Eric Sapola. I don't know if you know him. He was in the IG agent Facebook group. He had a chat closing agency and he put it out, hey, I'm looking for chat closers. Jumped right on it. I didn't know him, never met him. He was like, cool, yeah, I like you. Started working together. He hooked me up with a client. Then Jason's High Status Summit 2020 came. Just talking to Eric about the business. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be speaking there. Like, bro, I've been a motivational speaker, man. Let me help you out. So we hopped on a Zoom. I helped him a little bit with his speech. Then we get to the event. I end up having lunch with him. And like I said, relationships, became friends after the event, sent him a voice message like, hey, man, good to meet you. Let's crush it together. Ends up one of my best clients that made me the most money. Eric heard that he was looking for somebody and he's like, you're the best guy I know. Let me introduce you. And I was with that client for year and a half. We made a lot of money together. And that was just, again, relationships. I didn't do an outreach. I didn't even know the kid existed, right? The client, the e-com coach. So it's crazy. Build relationships.
Yeah, live events are huge. If you can get to live events, that's massive. But I mean, that relationship started, as just an offline connection. Sorry, as an online connection. And then, later led to you guys meeting up at an event, offline, etc. But yeah, I think there's like too many people that they're just afraid to jump on opportunities because I feel like they have all sorts of like limiting beliefs around like, oh, I'm not good enough, or there's so many more people who are more qualified to do it. You know what I mean? Like, who am I? Like, I've just taken a couple of courses, like, this, but they don't realize. So like, bro, there are copywriters, chat closers, media buyers who are way like not as good as you, who are out there, who are getting clients and getting paid and getting rich. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're still sitting here second guessing yourself. And really, honestly, the best way to learn is to just put yourself out there, get a client, learn on the job. You'll learn way faster when you're working with an actual paying client. You're going to be able to implement everything that you write, everything you send out, everything you test. You're going to get immediate instant feedback on it. You're going to be able to optimize quickly over time. And so like what might take someone else to learn, 2 years over theory, you're going to learn in 2 months, like on the job, because you're out there, you're implementing, you're testing stuff, you're getting results, you're getting feedback, you're learning what works, what doesn't work. And then you're going to level up way faster and you're getting paid the whole time. So you're more like motivated and you're way less likely to give up. It's just like, yeah, I think so many people need to just really just be bulldogs essentially and jump on opportunities when they show up.
Yeah. I mean, if you see not so much that IG and Facebook anymore, but group, but geez, even in CMB group,
There's so many opportunities being posted.
that's all. Like anytime somebody says looking for, I'm looking for. I'm usually the first one who replies. If you look at the threads, it's like, well, how do you have more time for a client? I might not, but shit, if it's a referral, I'm not cold outreaching whoever this person is. I know they have a need, even if it's not a good fit. I'm still going to jump on the opportunity to get on the phone with somebody. If I can't close them, you're going to remember me, you're going to like me, and you're going to refer me. Fuck it. Like, just yes, I'll do it. Like, how do you have so much time? I don't, but I'm going to jump on every opportunity I can.
Yeah, because it also could be a way better opportunity than maybe one of the clients you're currently working with. And that way you can drop your most demanding, most time investment, lowest paying, bottom 20% client and then replace it with someone better. And that's how you continuously level up.
How do you have time? It's like I have a lot of clients. I never did have a lot of clients. I always wanted to keep 2 or 3 at the most. 3 was almost too much. And it was like, I'm lazy. I want to make the most amount of money with the least amount of work. So if there's one client,
smart instead of lazy, but yeah.
Yeah.
Same idea.
So if I can make $6,000 working an hour, $6,000 a month working 1 hour a day with you, with one client, or I'm making $2,000 working like 10 hours a day. Sorry, bro. Like this isn't going to work. And then I put all my time with this guy, and then I get and I keep going up. And that's how I did it. Like, and I was blunt with people from the beginning, like with the contract that we send, like if any point in time this doesn't work, we go our separate ways. This is all professional, nothing personal, no worries. And when it comes time to it, they're like, as long as you're good at what you do, obviously you got to be good. It's like, hey man, I'd love to be able to pay you more. I can't right now. So, best of luck. That's how I did it. So I never had like 50 clients. It was always like, I got 2. Who's the winner? A, B split test. Okay, you're better. I'm going to put more time and I'm going to find somebody else who I can make more money with.
Yeah. So simple, but it's like, yeah, genius.
And specifically with my, say, lifestyle between job, kids, what I found was, like I said, 2 clients, income-wise, like 10 to 12K per month was fit where I wanted to be, energy-wise, time-wise, work-wise. Like, yeah, I can push it and, get 20K, but I'm going to be on my phone all day, or I'm going to have to hire somebody, which I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to start my own agency. So like I had to define what I wanted, time-wise, energy-wise, family time. And that was kind of the sweet spot. 2 clients-ish, 10 to 12K-ish. If we have a really good month, obviously more. But, for some of the people, again, like the elders like me, like I never wanted to be like, blow it up and Lambos and all that kind of shit. I never cared. I told you a while ago, like, why'd you join? It's like, because my kids were in fucking daycare and that's like a second mortgage. If I can make $2,000 a month extra, that I'm good. Like I'm loving life. $2,000, that's all I want. I mean, I hit that very easily, but
no, gone a little bit past there. Yeah, but that's really, man, that's really inspiring.
There's a lot of people that come in, they're like, I want to make this, I want to make that. It's like bullshit. Like define how much you want to make. I think you go through an exercise like this. How much work is that going to take you? How much time, how much energy? Is it going to be a pain in the balls? Is it worth it? Like for me, having a lot of clients, I tried that a couple of times, and every time I tried, I shit the bed and I burned out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really cliche, but kind of knowing your actual why is super important, because it's like so many people throw these numbers out there, and I suppose I'm partially guilty because I'm advertising it as like, hit 10K a month, but it's like, there's a reason we ask everyone. It's like, why do you actually want that? You know what I mean? Like so many people just throw these numbers, these pie in the sky numbers out there. They're like, oh, I want to make 5K, I want to make 10K, I want to make 20K, 30K a month. And it's like, well, why? What do you want that for? Is there maybe a place you want to live in, a certain lifestyle you want? Is it to take care of your kids, your family? You know what I mean? Like, is it because you want to invest it all and become like rich as fuck one day? Whatever. I don't care what the reason is, but like, as long as you have some sort of actual reason that drives you, that's going to make you 10 times more likely to actually achieve it. Because otherwise you'd be like, I feel like I'm just working towards this vague sort of like airy fairy goal that isn't even like real to me. Yeah. So having something that's like actual tangible that you're working for is really powerful.
Yep. I might have ran it for the past few minutes. I don't know. What time is it?
Dude, I don't know, but this is great. So just to recap where you came from. So you came from the personal trainer world, naturally were good-ish at sales for whatever reason. Basically because you were just fucking blunt and just told people how it is. Hey, motherfucker, you're fat. You got to lose weight.
Yeah, just a bullshit artist, basically. Just, and I don't care what you think. I'm just going to tell how it is.
Yeah. Joined IG Agent. So you were following Jason Capital. He transitioned from the dating stuff into the make money online stuff. Joined IG Agent, found out that the skill itself that he taught was pretty solid. The client getting stuff, maybe not so much. And the people in the Facebook group, for whatever reason, I don't know what the IG Facebook group tends to attract very kind of beginners, let's call it. Yeah. And then so that's when you found, how did you first hear about me? Well, through Jason, obviously you met me at the event.
2000, you spoke, and actually sitting in front of me was Ender. And I guess, was he he might've been in season 1.
Yeah, he was.
And he was like, that's my coach. He kept saying, that's my coach. His program's great. And I didn't know what CMB was. I didn't know who you were. I know Jason had kind of been promoting you a little bit with email, whatever that thing was. So, I mean, I'd heard of you, but.
Yeah. And then from there, because I was, I guess, kind of in the back of your mind. And then after you've gone through IG Agent and you're like, man, I really want to like take this seriously. What was the kind of trigger point or decision that really tipped you over the edge to go like, okay, like I'm joining this guy. Like this seems like where I need to be.
Honestly, like following James Conti's kind of story, you know, the numbers that was like really big for me for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that just is what it was. Nobody was really doing the Instagram stories like you were, the certainty that you were selling with.
Of course.
Yeah. Like you just had certainty in your story. Like, you know, boom, if you want to hit this and this and this, I was like, well, shit, he's making it not sound easy, but like, he sounds pretty confident in what he's talking about. So, and I was already kind of in that world, like Jason-ish world at the time. So just kind of made sense.
So yeah, I mean, similar thing with Ray as well, kind of just looking at James and going like, well, fuck, you know, this 18-year-old kid can make 20 grand a month in 3 months after joining. Like, I could probably do it too. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm older. Like, what does he have that I don't? Surely, if he can do it, I can do it, right? Yeah. No offense to James. Like, James is a legend. Love you, James. But yeah, but it's like, shit. I mean, he literally went from like working at McDonald's to 10K within a couple of months, and then 20K, and then 30K. Now he's up to like 60, 70K. And he's still only, I don't even know if he's turned 20 yet. It's like crazy. It's like, well, fuck, you know, he can do it.
Yeah. And it's crazy too. Like I said, again, coming back to relationships, I'd seen him on your stories. He was the kind of one that made me really want to join. He ended up closing me too, the motherfucker, in chat. And then Jason's event in 2020, James was there, and I met him like right before the event. We kind of crisscrossed in the hall, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's James Conti!" Like he was like a celebrity or something. He was like, "Yeah, bro." So we sat together up front basically the whole time, and I still hit him up every once in a while, like, "Yo, bro, I'm coming to Australia sometime, not soon with COVID, but." And he's like, "Fuck yeah, just come, let's go." Like,
yeah. So you joined us, made the noble leap, join us in CMB. The first clients, you came just from using the clients on command cheat sheet, which is ironically my free thing, not even in the program. But obviously it's only the first step, the outreach. You still need to know what to do to audition them, close them, etc., which isn't covered in the cheat sheet, which obviously we go in depth on in CMB. But you use the cheat sheet on Facebook, is that right?
Yep.
You get your first client.
Mm-hmm.
Was your approach just going into Facebook groups, and were you posting in there? Were you seeing people who might, you know, who are already posting gigs and needing those positions? Or what was your general approach to get that first client?
It's funny. I really didn't have a strategy. Like I said, I knew I wanted to work with online coaches. I knew that they all had, like at the time, it wasn't as big, but the ones that did have their own Facebook groups, I was like, well, let me just join there. I didn't want to just like kind of hit them up. But then like you'll see it a lot of times if a group is getting started or kind of slowing down, they're like, so let's connect. Where are you guys from? What do you do? And I was like, that's my opportunity. I'm not going to say like, I'm Bryan from New Jersey. I'm like, hey, this is what I do. And if you'd be interested, like, let's chat. So I just put that out there, and like, it wasn't a strategy at first, but it worked so well. And then it's funny because talk about that fucking IG agent group. Somebody ended up DMing me on Facebook, and they like, hey, bro, like, here's this script. And they used my fucking script that I sent to this coach. Somehow it got like passed around, and people took it. It was like literally word for word. Hey, I'm Bryan from New Jersey, South Jersey, that is, but a little beach emoji. They just changed the name, and everything was the fucking same. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But that's how like Facebook group strategy is so goddamn easy. At least it was. Now coaches are a little bit tighter on their, you know, rules. But back in 2000, what was it, 20? It was the wild, wild west, man. You can go to any Facebook group and get as many clients as you wanted.
Yeah. 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 Okay. So essentially just looked out for posts in various like business coach Facebook groups, just general engagement posts like, hey, where are you guys from? Like, you know, all that stuff, which really they're just doing to get engagement to then lead gen.
And people still do it.
So you basically just said like, hey, I'm in the comments or in the DMs? You're like, hey, I'm Bryan.
It was in the comments. Something like, let's network. Where are you from? What do you do?
Yeah.
And I put like, I help online coaches, do whatever the cheat sheet said. Like, I help online coaches do this, go from X to Z. If that's cool, if that sounds cool, let me know. We could talk.
And did you get people hitting you up after that?
Not with that one, but I used that strategy a bunch of times, and it's always worked. Just like fishing for clients, even though I didn't do any like outreach. I kind of tested that a couple different things with that script. It's always worked. Even like say, if you post it on your Facebook group and I reply in the comments, somebody might not comment on it, but they'll say, hey, I saw your post in the Facebook group. I'm looking for somebody XYZ. Can we talk?
Yeah. Just by people in the group seeing your name coming up repetitively, by basically just interacting with other posts in the group, which is like, it's what I've been saying for years. Even on my like free YouTube videos, rather than trying to be a shark and like, it's like buy or die. It's more like playing the long game, more like a farming, so to speak, than the direct hunting. And so to get kind of tactical, how did you make the transition from leaving a bunch of comments like that to actually closing the first client? Did they hit you up first? Did you hit them up first? And then you started chatting?
Yeah, my first client, she saw the comment, was like, hey, she said, send me a DM. So I DM'd her. I was like, oh shit, what'd I do? Am I in trouble? Like, no, haha, I loved it. We hopped on a quick call.
Like, am I in trouble?
Yeah. Always try to be funny as best you can. Like,
that's brilliant.
Always, because people laughing gets people's guards down.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hopped on a quick call. And like I said, at the time, it wasn't really a thing, not like it is today. So yeah, and I had no experience. I told her, she's like, have you worked with anybody before? I was like, nope. But, I've been through, I invested in myself, went through a class. I learned a lot of skills. And then she was like, all right, cool. Just threw me into the fire. And I fucking, like I said, right out of the gate, just crushed it.
Yeah. Well, when you have the skills, then that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
That's cool, dude. That's crazy. I love that. And from there, it was pretty much just keeping an eye on people's like posts in Facebook groups and jumping on every opportunity that came up. Did you do anything in particular to like orchestrate referrals? Did that just happen organically, or did you have sort of a conscious or unconscious like system in place to ask your clients for more referrals?
I never had a system. I forget what week it was during our class, but Wade did a class on networking, and it was fucking awesome. Like that's
week 9. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really, really good. So like that had already planted the seed in me, like networking, connect, plus my kind of philosophy, like just going through my whole life. Like, how did I get from where I was to where I'm going? It was just relationships with people. So it was like, always be professional, be cool. Like once I was in my first client's DMs, I was seeing people, not from, one person from CMB, but a bunch from IGH, the way they were reaching out and talking to business owner who at her point was, like I said, she was just breaking 7 figures. Like, you fucking guys are never going to get hired. Like, what are you, what are you coming up with this shit that you're saying to people? Like I'm the best and I'll make you so much money.
3x your conversion rate. I think I heard Jason say it on a call one time. Someone reached out to, it was like Alex Hormozy or I think it was Alex. Was that you who did that? And he was like, I'm going to 3x your conversions or something like that.
No. I reached out to him with something stupid. I didn't say the 3x conversion one, but I did reach out to him. So when Jason did that little class, I was like, oh, fuck, like I'm dead. It's over. It's over. Like Alex Hormozy's going to beat me up. I was so scared.
That's so funny. Wow. Yeah, no, but yeah, there was someone else who was like, yeah, or it was maybe Dan Flashman or someone. They're like, yeah, I'm going to like 3x your business. And he was like, I'm running a $50 million a year business. Like, you reckon you're just going to come in here and like just triple everything like with some like magical script. So yeah, I mean, it ties right back into the honesty thing. It's like, this is the kind of shit they're getting all day, every day about like being bullshitted. These unrealistic promises, which they already don't believe. That's why like in just a general copywriting strategy that works really well, it's just kind of lowering the promise and making it seem more like realistic. Like I'm even experimenting with saying 5K a month will help you hit 5K a month within 100 days rather than 10K. Even though we have so many people who do 10K, I think it's just like a self-belief thing and a believability thing, whether I can do it or whether they can do it. To like 5K just seems a lot more achievable. And that in turn actually increases conversions because people are like, yeah, actually, that seems doable versus like these super wild claims. I mean, if I wanted to, I could say like, I'm going to help you hit 2 million in 2 years, like raised on, like we've had some wild case studies, but it's like, if I was to lead with the best case possible, scenario, most people are just not going to believe it because it sounds just too good to be true. We've done it, it's true, but it's like, they don't believe it.
Especially these days, that shit works less and less.
Yeah. And people are more skeptical today than ever, as you said. It's like every year, every 6 months, like as the space just becomes more and more saturated, people are just bombarded with just more pitches, more offers. Yeah, it's more saturated. Honestly, like in my opinion, the way to cut through that isn't just by shouting louder than everyone else and making more bold, audacious claims. It's just being honest. Like being honest, being truthful, cuts right through the noise, just whispering the right words in the ears of your prospect rather than trying to shout louder than everyone else is like, it's going to be the way moving forward. Being more personal, more honest, more real in a world that's, I think, getting more fake. I mean, everywhere you look online. I was talking about this with my friend Brooke yesterday, and she's going through like her newsfeed, and it's like, as a guy, I don't even notice this stuff, but she zooms in on photos of these like girls on Instagram, and she's like, look at the lines. Like there's like, like a tile behind them, and it's like straight, and then it curves in next to her waist. And they're like, all is like, as a guy, I wouldn't even noticed at all. But it's like, she zooms in, she's like, look, there's like, they're all photoshopped. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, the makeup, the Photoshop, the perfect angle, the perfect lighting, the filters, it's like there's so much as crap, like fake shit being put out there online. And it's kind of becoming the new normal. So by being someone who's just honest, authentic, real, blunt, it's so refreshing. And
just do your homework on the person. I mean, if you're going to do like sniper versus like, say, shotgun, I would always rather be the sniper, do my homework.
Yeah.
And then like, I see so many, like in my clients' DMs, like pitches that are trying to be cute and fancy. It's like the business owner knows what's up. They're busy. They know what you're trying to do. They know what they need. Just fucking say like, this is what I have. This is what I offer. Like, don't try to be cute with it. Like now you're just wasting my time. I'm in my clients' DMs and I'm getting pissed off. Like, bro, you're wasting my time. Like it's not even me.
Yeah, so, people just slide in. They're like, hey, Sean, like, how's business, dude? You know what I mean? It's like, I know where this is going. I know what you're trying to do, And it's like, that's one of the first points, the first principles in the Clients on Command DM cheat sheet is just like, address the elephant in the room. You're a stranger. They're a stranger. You're hitting them up. They know you want something. Like, just fucking get that out of the way and be honest. Be like, hey, I am messaging you for selfish reasons. I do want something from this. I'm not asking you for any money. All I ask for is a testimonial. But it's like, here's what I'm offering. Here's what I want. And to the right person, they're going to be like, sounds good. I appreciate that. I appreciate the transparency.
Yeah, totally. Hey, I know I can go on all night. It's 8:30. I'm going to have to put my kids to bed soon. So I want to get through all your questions that you have, and I just won't fucking babble on as much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much a majority of the journey from certainly where you were before, tactical stuff, how you managed to get your first couple of clients. And essentially from there, it was just asking for referrals, jumping on opportunities that came up and trading up essentially. So dropping your worst client for a better client and kind of just slowly trading up that way. After all that, it's been 2.5 years or something since you joined us originally coming up on 3 years in CMB. Where is Bryan Bradshaw now?
Well, I don't know if you saw my post the other day, another referral. I don't know if you're familiar with mastermind.com. That's a company, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and Russell Brunson.
Oh, is that like the Millionaire 100 or whatever?
Something like that. Yeah, they had the biggest launch in internet marketing history.
I saw with Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson and Zoom video conferencing. Yeah.
Yeah. They just hired, most of their business was live events. Obviously, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi. They hired Cole Gordon, if you're familiar with him. So he's helping to implement their closers, their setters, and the guy that's running the sales team now. My first client that we talked about that I was working with, she was a client in his company when he first started. So as soon as I dropped that name, he was like, oh, like, this is awesome. But they have no chat strategy, anything. It's all outbound. Like, you go to an event and they get your number, the outbound call. They've got 700,000 people within like 4 Facebook groups who have all paid something. It's not just like free. Wow. They've invested something and they have no infrastructure for chat. So I'm essentially going to be,
It's opportunity.
I still can't believe it. But basically I'm going to be building that out with the sales manager. And then the idea is by next quarter, once we get it systemized, then we're just going to scale it. Like, as soon as I do a good job and don't shit the bed, like I'll be in charge of kind of the chat division. Well, we don't even know what that's going to look like yet. But essentially, like I told all my other clients, like, hey man, it's been good working with you, but I got to focus on this because the opportunity is just insane. Like I started Monday. It's 7 days of onboarding. I mean, every day it's like checklist. It's like they're looking for culture first. There was like a personality assessment I had to do, like serious. I've been with 7-figure companies, coaches. I've never seen anything to this scale. I don't know if it gets big. I can't imagine it getting any bigger than this. It's unreal. Put it this way. During our onboarding call, me and another phone closer, their mastermind office is in Arizona. And guy walks by, sticks his head in, pops his head on the Zoom call. Is like, hey, everybody, nice to meet you. We're going to be getting you a lot of leads soon. And then the guy, my sales manager, when that guy left, was like, are you familiar with Carvana? I was like, yeah, I've heard of it. He's like, well, he started it. He's consulting with us now. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, you were going to meet some fucking monsters here. Like, it's fucking Tony Robbins. Like, the dude knows everybody. Like, talk about relationships and connecting. Like, I can't even, I still don't even have a full idea of the scope of what this is going to be like.
Dude, I'm excited for you. This is enormous. And this was just a referral from an existing client or?
A long time ago, Cole Gordon, I don't know if you're familiar, he runs like a fulfillment, like he interviews setters, closers, trains them up. And I went through this interview process a long time ago. And every once in a while, like you might put my name in a hat and they're like, hey, I found a client that's been good for you. So get on the interview. If you like him, you got a client. But it was always never really a good fit. And just out of the blue, the guy was like, Bryan, I know like you're chat man. He's like, because they don't have a lot of people for chat. It's all phone closers. He's like, I got a client who wants to do chat. Let me connect you. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Wow, that's insane, man. Dude, just being respectful of your time, because I know you have to go in a second. Bit of a selfish question before we wrap up. Just curious, in your sort of journey through CMB, if you had to kind of try and pick 2 or 3 things that you thought were the most helpful, useful, insightful, everything from like the stuff you actually learned to the coaching calls or the live calls, the Facebook group, the community. You didn't have half the stuff we have now in terms of the new coaches and like calls with Ray and Ari and the Nico and Matt and all that stuff. But what for you from the program did you, I suppose, get the most value from?
Definitely the Facebook group.
That's what everyone says. It's crazy.
Just the sense of a community. And like we say like CMB family. We don't say like the group, right? Family, right? That's kind of, and that's for real. It feels like that for sure. And I always say, I'll help anybody in CMB with. If I have to get on a call with you for 5 minutes, I will. I'll help you with whatever I can. And everybody else
really
is generous like that too.
Which I really, really appreciate, man. You've added a lot of value to our community. So
I try. Yeah.
I don't go back to that.
But yeah, just the sense of community. And like I said, the referrals, the networking, hey, I got an opportunity. I can't take it, but chat closers here, setters here, copywriters here. Like that is just, you can't put a price tag on that. Just for the opportunity to have so many like opportunities for jobs or roles or whatever you want to call it, potential roles that are there. It's nuts. Like,
yeah. I feel like it's so underutilized. Like the amount of client opportunities being posted versus the amount of people actually like commenting on them. I'm just like, if all you did all day was to sit on the Facebook group and look through those opportunities, like you would have clients, like you wouldn't have to do any cold outreach at all.
Nope.
Because so much stuff being posted. So many opportunities.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you go through and see any like client opportunity for chat closers or whatever, or setters, I guarantee you my name's in there and it's probably first.
Like it's the stupidest, simplest tack, but it's like, for whatever reason, people, you just don't comment on them. I don't know. I don't know why, but yeah, like that's the lowest of low hanging fruits right there. It's like, I'm just giving it to you like this. Like I'm making it easy as fucking possible for you. But yeah. So the Facebook group, that's a big one. I'm also curious as well to hear, who would you say CMB would be for and not for?
I don't want to say my experience is more the chat closing side, not copywriting side. So I can't really speak to like as a beginning chat closer or appointment setter, it's very easy to get skilled up and get good with that. The client acquisition side you can learn, but to say like about a beginning copywriter who doesn't have experience to come into CMB, it's like, you got to be good at what you do.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't matter how many clients you can get if you're not good at it. Like
we do have skills training now. Just want to make that clear. Like a separate copywriting training program and then 2 copywriting coaches to actually help you give you feedback on your actual writing, which will help you learn dramatically faster.
That's right. Yeah, because I wasn't there
didn't have any of that.
But in terms of like chat closing or appointment setting, shit, I can teach you in an hour. Like that stuff's easy. Phone closing, not easy. Phone closing is a whole different beast of a thing.
There's lots of nuances to it, tonality, objection handling, and all that. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, part of the this new gig they gave me, this 7-figure phone closing course. Hey, I know nothing about phone sales compared to what I'm learning in this program that they get. It's like, holy shit. It's totally next level stuff. But point being, if you're trying to come in as like a closer and you don't have that much experience, it's like very difficult.
Yeah, that's cool. And dude, while we wrap this up, I know mid last year, I was in New Zealand, actually. We managed to get out for a week and come back in exactly as borders opened and immediately closed again. So the timing was perfect. And I was waiting in the line for the ski lift. I opened up Facebook group and I saw in there you went on holiday. It was like it's a week or weekend or something to this like in stunning, beautiful place in, I can't remember where it was, somewhere, it was like on the beach.
Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos. Yeah, dude, whatever the hell that was, like I need to go there one day because that looked insane.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking nice.
What does the future hold for Bryan Bradshaw?
Well, we got that same group of people that we went on vacation with. We got another one. We've got this baller ass house on Marco Island in Florida in July. No kids. Again, let's just go celebrate. I'm still technically being onboarded with this new gig, so that hasn't started yet, the actual work. But I said just the potential is just, I have never seen anything even remotely close to this in terms of what this could be in the next 6 months. I'm just excited.
I'm excited for you. Dude, I'm super excited for you. Like, dude, to come from where you have to where you are now, like they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I will point them towards Bryan Bradshaw every single time. Like the transformation you've had is just insane. So extremely, extremely proud of you, man. And yeah, it's been an honor. It's been a fucking blessing to watch you just take off and continually just break new heights. Like every month, you just even higher. And it's been such an inspiration to not only me, but everyone else in the Facebook group as well. Has been keeping tabs on you. Like I know so many people, they tell me, they're like, man, Bryan's a huge inspiration for me. Keep shining bright, keep doing your thing. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what the future holds for you, man.
Cool. Yeah. And sometime soon, hopefully Greece, but we'll see.
Yes. We still need to do the CMB Mykonos 2022 trip. It's been delayed for a couple of years because someone aided that, but get there. Final thing, if someone wants to find you, connect with you online, where's the best place that they can do that?
Facebook and Instagram. If you see like my Instagram, I don't post. I don't do any of that shit. I post stories, but I don't do anything on my feed or whatever. So, and I don't have a big following or whatever. So it's pretty easy to get a hold of me there. Facebook as well. I got tons of Facebook friend requests. If you're in CMB and you send me a request, I barely add anybody on Facebook. So just send me a message. Hey, I'm in CMB. Love to connect. Otherwise, I probably won't add you. Or if I do, I'll try to sell you something. So
Perfect. It's just at Bryan Bradshaw on Instagram.
Yeah, Bryan J. Bradshaw, I think.
Well, Bryan J. Bradshaw, it's been an honor chatting with you. I know you got to put your kids to bed now. Dude, massive inspiration for me, for everyone here. Just seeing how much you juggle, seeing how far you've come, and just your continuous effort and drive and willingness to just keep leveling up is massively inspirational. So
yeah, man, it's been a fun 2.5 years.
Only just getting started.
Yep, that's for sure.
Dude, have a incredible rest of your day and week till we chat soon. Keep crushing, man.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time.
You too. Likewise. See you later, brother.
See ya.
Good one.